Right then, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Show Us Your Kit, the show where we look at old clothes. I'm joined by Talking Wolves' own Dave Azzopardi. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm good, thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me on. The only reason I'm wearing a cap, by the way, my hair's looking a bit Connor Cody at the moment. I'm not sure if it suits me, so I'm going
I
to
don't know
wear a
what's
cap
worse,
just in case.
looking like Connor
What's
Cody
that, the
or
Bale? Yeah.
Nearly. By the end of this
So wait,
isolation,
who have been the first two? You've had Harry, who was the other one?
So Billy from my podcast, he was number one.
Podcast, yeah.
Trying to, build some
Yeah, keep it
enthusiasm
the brand.
towards my own podcast here. We've got lots of people lined up. If they come
I think it'll be a good series, man. I love retro kits and stuff like that, so it's it would be a fun series.
Yeah. So let's begin then, Dave. Straight away, get your kit out. Let's have a look at your
Which
Wolves
one we're going
kits.
for first? The
Wolves
Wolves
kit
one,
first,
yeah?
please. Yeah.
So obviously, in recent years, I haven't really sort of bought both kits. The away kits in recent years I've gone for, but this one is also an away kit, but from a very long time ago. I must admit I didn't buy it at the time. It has been a repurchase. It's a Harry Mansell special, so I'd assume Harry picked this one as well.
He did, yeah. And funnily enough, it will already have been uploaded. I was wearing that kit when he,
Yeah. So to be fair, I got this.
You wouldn't have been. Would you?
This was
would
the
you
year
have been going
born.
to the games when you? Oh, okay.
This was the year I was born, so that's why it's sort of relevant-ish. So I got this off classic football shirts, to be fair. But the things I like about it, obviously you got the retro logo on there, the Goodyear. The merchandiser as well I like a lot on here, and I'll show you on the other kit it's the same with the name rather than just the logo.
Well, do you remember when a couple of years ago they remade the home version of that kit, and it didn't have the word Puma, it just had a word.
Yeah. Emblem. Well, yeah, that's what I like, and obviously you got the wolf on the collar. But one of the best things I think about it, the kits were so much much better made, weren't they, back then? Like the actual wolf head, you can't really see it. The wolf head in the fabric.
There's loads of little wolf heads on there that make up the.
Yeah, I don't know
shirt.
if I can get. No, you can't really get.
No, you
but
can't see
if you looked at it online, but yeah, it's the color choice. If someone explained to me the colors of this and said like a green or turquoise and white shirt, I'd probably be like, what? But yeah, it's a really nice shirt, and it's one that if I ever went to, obviously when the summer hits and if the football comes back, I think this one will be making appearances a lot. And I'm sure Harry's had plenty of beer down his. Unfortunately, mine is in very good condition.
Pristine, yeah.
But yeah, lovely shirt.
Yeah, nice. So you won't have any particular memories of that shirt then, will you? Because you took
No, not really. I even had to just double check I knew I had a brief idea what the year was, but I even had to double check the year beforehand. But that one is more of a fashion one for me rather than.
What is the first Wolves kit that you can remember then, off the top of your head?
I had when I was a baby, I had a Goodyear kit, probably the gold version of that year. But the only one that I can vividly remember was probably one of the Chaucer ones. Probably the home kit from 2004, I think. Because I had that when I was young and it was massive. Yeah. And I'm fairly certain probably up until about a few years ago, I probably could have still wore that shirt because it was that big.
Those Chaucer shirts, remember as soon as you put them in the wash the first time, the club had to apologise and they had to... I think they took a lot of shirts back because the Chaucer logo was so flimsy and little that they all just fell off straight away.
It's weird though, because I know a lot of people that have issues with sponsors and stuff like that, and I see it a lot. Especially sort of during quarantine stuff, I've been watching and looking at more retro kit stuff. Yeah. I've never had a football kit where the stuff has come off. Never had issue with the lettering or the things, but I think the only one I've had. I had a blue training top from a few years ago and they printed Silverbug on it, when we had Silverbug. Yeah. I think that started to peel a little bit. But other than that, with names and stuff, I've never had any issues with them.
No, I remember.
You see them online loads.
The retro kit that's got store distributions on it.
Yeah.
I had that, and the first time I watched that, all the letters started peeling. But I don't know. It's just maybe I'm not reading.
Every year there is an issue of some sort with the kits. Yeah, the band is on wrong.
And recently
it's been I think this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, the colour and stuff like that has been debatable because old gold is not a colour, so we've always struggled to actually get the colour right. Because the one that we had last year that was completely different to any other kit that we'd had, they compared it to the 1960 FA Cup kit. and they said it's the same colour, but it was far too yellow. But
I'm just looking on classic football shirts now. I'm scrolling up and down. Literally every year is a completely different colour to each other. Like Le Coq Sportif had done 2 kits there, 04 and 06, and they're completely different shades of orange, really, not even gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but in terms of like away kits, I think away kits in recent years Wolves have done pretty well. Like, I really like the black or the white kits because they're just plain and simple. The ones I really dislike, the purple one we had.
See, I was just going to say the opposite. I was going to say I quite like the ones that are really obscure because Wolves are traditionally either yellow, gold at home and then white or black away. But then you've got a couple of random ones. Like, remember when they turned the badge red? For the white
I hated
kit
that, you know. I know so many people that love that kit, but I despise it. And I think that's the reason why, because they changed the colour of the badge.
Yeah, and the one from 2016, the really bright yellow one.
Oh, like the luminous, fluorescent green. Yeah.
Which
the yellow,
it was pointless because the only time we needed to wear a change kit was against Norwich, who play in pretty much that colour. So I remember watching that game on the highlights, thinking, "Oh God, I can't tell who's who." Any other Wolves kits then before we move on to the next one that you particularly like?
Which one? Obviously, as I say, I like the black ones. One that weirdly I like, and it sort of goes against what I said. Berda did one. I think it might have been the season we went down to the Championship.
Yeah,
it was like a blue and orange.
Yeah,
actually weirdly like, and it's probably. Yeah, probably not too. It's probably a bit. It was more blue than this colour.
Similar to that. Yeah,
what's sort of similar. So I did quite like that one. I think I ended up getting that. You know, at the end of the year when they were selling them all off for like a £5. I think I got one of them then. So.
Those are the days when you could get a kit outside of August. You can't get a kit for love nor money.
Well, the thing now, Wolves keep sending me emails about sales. I'm like, here we go. Last year's kit, and it's like still 40 quid or not in my size.
Like, exactly. There's no adult kits left at all.
Yeah,
that I've seen anyway.
Well, I won't get one for our infants. I don't think I'll be able to fit in one of them. So,
or you can get a pair of socks. Shorts if you need them. Right, so let's have a look at your non-Wolves kit then. What have you gone for?
So my non-Wolves kit is one that I had my eye on. It's very well. It's from this season. I had my eye on at the start of the season, and it is the PSG. I think it's the third kit from this year.
Okay.
So obviously PSG have had. It might be their away kit actually. It's their away kit. So they've had loads of. Different kits. They've got the thing with Jordan as well. Yeah. So they got.
Is that an actual kit, that Air Jordan kit, or is it a?
So they wear, as far as I'm aware, they wear the Jordan stuff in the Champions League, and they wear the Nike. Well, obviously it's Nike Jordan, but they wear the Nike stuff in the league. So the first thing I got was one of their training shirts, and then when I was on holiday in Venice, this was in the Nike shop, and I thought it's literally saying "Buy me."
Yeah.
So it's got the 2 stripes stand across the badge and obviously the sponsor in the middle, but it's just such a clean shirt.
Yeah.
And I've looked at retro PSG shirts and they're very similar actually in style and design.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Just looking at that now, it looks like a classic shirt, or it looks like, they're starting to bring in these mock retro ones that are trying to look like a retro one.
So, and again, the same thing with the badge. You got the Nike name rather than just the tick, and very similar to the Wolves shirt actually. In the fabric, it's got Paris all across it. So Paris I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it says you can't really see. Yeah, you can see the stripes.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's it's really plain. It's nice. The colours all go well with each other. But as I say, I got 2 of the shirts this year, and I never really would have looked at buying other club shirts before this year. And I've seen their leaked ones for next year, and they look class as well.
Yeah.
So,
I was just about to say, you like your what do they call them? The fan made like kits when they
the concept stuff.
Concept kits,
yeah. So, I love some of them. Like some of them come out. Like there are the only ones I tend to like though are the ones that are actually properly made, like as in proper 3D kits and nice graphic.
Yeah.
And not the people that just make it on
ones.
some of the,
Crayola.
So, but I've seen some Wolves kits. I would love one which had some sort of wolf head on the shirt, whether that be in the fabric like the old ones or like what was I going to say? There was one before which was just a massive wolf head in the middle. It came out
the concept
year, like a concept one. It was just a wolf head in the middle, and I thought it looked unbelievable. And everyone said it was dreadful. And I was like, it's just me then.
So just to come back to PSG for a second, are they a particularly favourite team of yours, or is just because the kit was nice
it's just the kits, really. Like obviously, other than Wolves, I don't really follow any other team. Obviously, I keep my tabs on European football or Champions League football, as most people do.
Yeah.
But I think they've sort of I think a lot of clubs are going down that route, especially even Wolves now with the whole fashion thing, because it's such a big market worldwide. I know other English clubs have done it. I think Man City are doing it quite a lot, but I don't think I'd ever be able to buy another English club's shirt unless they're not, a local, like serious competitor to Wolves.
I've been doing that the last couple of weeks, just looking at all the shirts and thinking, what would I buy? And I did buy a Swansea shirt last week, but my family are from there, and my grandparents used to support Swansea when they were children. But I don't think I could bring myself to I really like the Newcastle shirts from the 90s when they had the huge brown Newcastle brown ale sign on it. I'd love to have a shirt like that, but I couldn't bring myself to wear somebody else's badge.
Yeah, I see a lot of the foreign shirts and obviously all the funky colours and stuff, and I think that's class. But even with English shirts, there's never any shirts I look at and think, wow, that is a class shirt. So I think I have got that pretty close connection with Wolves. I'm not even looking at other club shirts now. So this video is definitely going to make me go onto eBay and classic football shirts. I've got a story actually before we move on. So a few weeks ago, I said I've been watching all these videos. I said during this lockdown, I could seriously look at trying sort of similar to what you do. I'll find some cheap shirts on eBay and maybe sell them on, or if they're really good, I'd keep them. So I found one LA Galaxy shirt, and I saw it. And I was like, oh, this is quite cheap. There was about half an hour left on it. It was about £6 or £7. Searched it online. The cheapest of that shirt I could find, brand new, was about £65. So this would be a good deal. So I won the auction for about £10. So man, I'm quids in here. Yeah. I looked at the pictures. Picture was fine in the front of the shirt. Back of the shirt had name 7 printed on the back. I was there like, what? And I saw the 7. I thought, oh, maybe it's Beckham. That'd be great. And it was name 7, so it must have been like a model shirt. Mistake, yeah. So it got delivered a couple of weeks ago, and I've been meaning to maybe try and either iron it off or I've seen someone that used acetone to try and peel it off, but I've not braved it yet.
You're gonna try and convince somebody that was the name of their number 7 was Name.
Name, yeah. Put a little dash on the top of the E. Yeah. Well, that's fine. Putting a little story back here.
Right. Let's move on to the next section of the show then, which is to look at some of your favourite clips on YouTube, because that's another thing I found myself doing. One of them. Well, I'm going to have to wait a little while for you to send me the clean version for me to be able to edit in. But otherwise, we're going to start with the Wolves one first, which is Ebanks Blake's goal against Charlton. So talk us through this. Why have you chosen this one?
Well, the first thing is, for years, obviously, this has been up, and Sylvan is spelt wrong, and that always grinds my gears on this video because they've added an I for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
But when you sent me the question, I was like, what clip, what Wolves clip did I watch or have I been watching non-stop? And even with the most recent stuff, I like watching clips and stuff like that. But I never always almost go back to a certain clip.
Yeah.
I think Cardiff might have been up there, but I don't understand why. I don't really enjoy watching the penalties back. It's almost as if half my brain thinks they're actually going to score the penalties.
Yeah, same.
Like
I still can't believe it.
So I don't really enjoy watching that one back. So, this goal from Ebanks Blake, I must have only been 10, which is going to make some people listening feel very old.
Yeah.
But I remember, obviously, it was on the Championship show. I think it was the featured match on there. And on the Saturday evening, obviously, I knew we'd won. And just seeing this goal, and probably from then up until the end of secondary school, we used to talk about this goal. Yeah. Because obviously the glory days sort of weren't back at Wolves, were they?
No, not at all. No.
About this goal
all
the time. And
were you not watching the game live then? Can you not remember watching it live?
I don't think I had it on live now. I'm
fairly
certain. I knew the score, but I sort of went back to and watched it on the highlight show.
Well, let's watch it now. Let's get rid of that advert. There we go.
The eye man.
Sylvain. Classic Wolves, just hoof it long up the wing.
That's it.
Greg Halford is playing for Charlton on this day, isn't he?
Yeah.
What a finish.
It's a finish as well, though. It's not just the piece of skill, it's the finish as well. And, I can't imagine, how good it would have been to be there. And especially with Cole Henry's goal as well after that. It's just so good. And, I know it's such a cliche, but if Messi or Ronaldo had scored that, genuinely it would be on millions of hits on YouTube. I think, to be fair, I think it did win Motor Goal of the Year.
Is it his weaker foot as well?
Yeah, which was EFL or the Football League's sort of equivalent. But
Look at his face.
It's mixed reaction as well.
Get in, lad.
Yeah. Well, literally, as I say, it's like just one of those goals that for years I could still go on it now. If I was searching through goals, that would definitely be one that I had to pick out.
Yeah.
Like everyone sort of knew the commentary or tried to know the commentary. So it was a class goal.
The story I always tell about that goal is I don't know if they still did the trip when you were at St. Peter's, but we used to go to the Pyrenees in year 12 with Mr. West. And it was Duke of Edinburgh Platinum is what he used to call it, but it was just so that he could go to the Pyrenees for a week. And I twisted my ankle the day before, so I couldn't walk the next day. So I ended up just sitting in this hostel with a friend of mine who's also a Wolves fan, and we watched I had the highlights on my, the iPod Classics.
Yeah.
It was like the first ones that had
the
video
tiny
on
screen
it.
with like the little dial on the bottom. Yeah.
So I had the whole highlights, like 20-minute highlights on my iPod, and we sat there all day and we watched it like 2 or 3 times because it was just, I think it happened like that year.
Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville. Like, rewind that back there. You see still so
he puts it through his legs and it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit sad, but who cares? I had a couple of other silly videos on there as well. But right, the next one, Dave. This is one of my favourite things to watch on YouTube as well.
If anyone's ever bored, you have to watch this.
I'll play it in the background as you talk about why it's so special to you. So it is currently playing. I'll just share the screen so you can see it. Why is Neil Warnock such a special person to you?
What was it about? I came across his documentary a number of years ago, and I watched it. I think it was the clip about Wolves in the dressing room. And I watched that, and I was like, this is actually a documentary. And he gets so much stick off everyone. And I watched this documentary, and my opinion fully changed on the guy. And I genuinely must have watched it at least 10, 11, 12 times plus since. In full, I can watch it again and again and laugh and cry every time. It's like, in a good way. Yeah. It is so funny. And it's got to the point now where I almost at times speak like him, and it just comes across like, it's not like, I'm doing it on purpose. And I told my friends about it. I was like, you have to watch it. And it's got to the point now, every time we go for pre-drinks at my friend's house before we go on a night out, Neil Warnock documentary is the entertainment before the night out.
Yeah, so, I think for anybody...
Yeah.
Go on. So even if you're not a football fan, like I mentioned it the other day in my our little university Zoom chat.
Yeah.
And I said, has anybody ever seen the Warnock documentary? And this girl who's got no interest in football whatsoever said, oh yeah, I've seen it. My boyfriend made me watch it and she loved it. And like things like this, he's with him on the treadmill and with him fishing and stuff like that. It's so iconic. It's like,
he says like, he like talks about retirement on this clip. And this is like 15 years ago. And he was, he may have sort of semi-retired now, but it's taken him 15 years. And it just shows like, I would love some, Wolves to do it, but Wolves are such a close-knit, almost private club. I don't think we, especially now, I don't think we would do anything like this. No, obviously, it's much more high quality now with like the all or nothing stuff with Amazon. But I even watched. I don't know if you've seen the QPR one, the 5-year plan.
I saw it when it first came out. Yeah,
and he's in that. Not as much as obviously this one. He's in that, and he even makes me crease in that, and he doesn't have to say much. I just laugh at him all the time.
Have you seen the comparison between Guardiola and Warnock? So good, isn't it? So
you could watch the documentary and then spend 3 or 4 hours just looking at clips again of that documentary with certain music or comparisons in the background. TikTok is full of Neil Warnock memes now as well. So
that's it. Like this documentary came out years before memes were ever thought of, but every scene could
it's just blowing up now. If you are on social media, you'll go on there and think, oh my god, I've seen this before. Like literally most clips are relatable, but he's a funny guy as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Do you wish that he would have been the manager at Wolves in was it 2012 when he
when McCarthy got sacked? I don't know, because I probably wouldn't enjoy this. See, I believe Terry Connor would keep us up until we actually got relegated. So I was always really positive about it. I've only in recent years have I started to get a bit more like
real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To be fair, I hated Solbakken for some reason. I don't know why. I hated Solbakken. I made a "In Dino We Trust" graphic when Dean Saunders came about. That went well. But I don't know. I don't think I would have enjoyed stuff like this if I already like he was Wolves manager. But everything happens for a reason. Although it was 10 years ago.
I know a Leeds fan who is going to come on this series as well. Who I remember when they'd sacked Grayson, he was desperate that they were going to get Warnock because he was just convinced that he was going to be the one to get them promoted because he's just got that reputation, hasn't he, of getting teams up. But then that's the ceiling.
Every club I think he's been at, he's left in a much better state.
Oh yeah. Well, Cardiff, when he took them over, they were in the bottom 3 in the Championship, and then a year later they're promoted with us.
It was them, Palace, QPR. Yeah, he did really well. So everywhere he goes. So he's a good manager, just not a very likable character with most people.
Yeah. I like him. But right, let's move on to the final bit of the show then, which is a random piece of football memorabilia, a mystery piece. So you haven't told me what it is.
No, this was a tough one because there was quite a few things I could have chose. So obviously there's the generic, football trophies and stuff like that. And because I've been coaching in the last year or so, I've got coaching, memorabilia and stuff. And then I thought of one yesterday, and I thought years ago, this isn't the one by the way. Years ago, the family business did some work for Mick McCarthy, and he signed us all some personal notes and photos. And I've got one, and I don't know where it is, and I sort of wish I had it. And I've been last day I was looking for it, and today I even asked my siblings because we all got one each. I said, "Have any of you got it?" Just so I could show it, and no one knows where theirs is. So my mum and dad said, "Actually, we've got something that you can show." It's a bit of a show and tell. So I'll show you that first. It's a little bag with a wolf head on it.
Okay, yeah.
Head. And obviously it comes in this box here as well.
Nice.
With some little tissue paper, all well wrapped. And there's 2, I believe. Some wolves, money clips.
Okay, nice.
And these were given to my dad from Rachel Hayhoe Flint after we did some work for her.
Oh, that's nice.
So I never knew until today that we had these. And then obviously my parents just got them out, and it's in this nice bag. So I thought it was pretty, something a bit different. I don't think anyone else on the show, I hope, has got these as well. So.
Well, certainly not given to them by Rachel Hayhoe Flint. That's
exactly. So yeah, we did. Yeah. So yeah, well, obviously I wanted the Mick one was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, a bit more personal as you were saying that, I was a memory came back to me from, I want to say it was 2007, and England schoolboys played Wales schoolboys at Molineux, and the concert band at St. Peter's played the national anthems for both teams, obviously, and I was there playing the trumpet, and McCarthy was there in a box or something. We had to leave our instruments somewhere in the ground, and then we had to come back out through the director's box or whatever, and he was sat there, and all I had on me was the music of the national anthem. So I just handed him this piece of paper, and he signed it. So somewhere, I don't know where, in a box in my parents' house in the loft is a signed copy of the national anthem.
It's a shame, isn't it? Stuff like that. At the start of lockdown, I tidied all my cupboard up, and there was so much Wolf stuff in there. So I've got all the newspaper stuff from when we got promoted in 2008 and stuff like that. So I've got all of that, and loads of programs, and there's loads of Wolf stuff in there. But I just thought anything in there. I mean, it would have been pretty cool to show that, I suppose. But anything in there, and then they brought up these money clips, which is they're really much more personal story, isn't it?
Yeah, really good. Yeah. Right. Well, thanks for joining me, Dave. Just tell everybody where we can find you on all your social medias.
Yeah. So my social medias are just Dave Azzopardi, AZZOPARDI, and obviously Talking Wolves everywhere as well.
How are you doing as well in lockdown in terms of content? What are you doing at the moment?
So I did have a list of wall stuff to do for Talking Walls, but I just not really almost had them. It sounds really, really negative and weird. I'm almost not had the motivation to do them. I suppose it's because football's not here as well. It's just making it's going to be surreal when it comes back. So I've just been getting the hours in on FIFA and Football Manager, to be honest. Nice. And should be doing a lot more work than I am doing, but.
Well, I think we all feel the same. We all feel a bit guilty, but right. Well, thanks for joining me, Dave. Keep yourself
My pleasure,
safe.
Tom, thank you.
And we'll see you very, very soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.